Hello and welcome to the Talk of Champions live stream on YouTube. My name is Kyle Henderson, the managing editor of BamaInsider.com. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. Tonight on the show, we'll be discussing Alabama, mostly the offense going into A-Day. But first, I wanted to provide two quick recruiting nuggets from the Atlanta Rivals camp, which took place today. And I want to explain how the show will work. So I'll pipe in some video from YouTube, and I'll go over some. We'll break down the offense. We'll talk about the quarterbacks. We'll give you an update on Tua Tagovailoa. If you've been somewhere and you missed it, we'll give you the update from Nick Saban, and we'll also provide an update likely Tuesday on what his status is. Remember, he wasn't seen at the scrimmage this past Saturday. But first, recruiting news, because we have an update from five-star offensive lineman Clay Webb from the Atlanta Rivals camp. Chad Simmons of Rivals.com caught up with him today. Webb was in Tuscaloosa this past Saturday, and from what we heard, he was walking around with Alabama quarterback commit Paul Tyson, the great-grandson of Bear Bryant. Here's what Webb had to say on the recruiting front. Let me pipe this in real quick. All right.
Like a local Bojangles, maybe a local Lego store?
Oh, yes, sir, definitely.
That's awesome, man. Let's get into recruiting a little bit, man. You're a fun guy to cover. We know Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee. I mean, everybody wants you for sure, but you have a few schools you're high on at this point. Let's just start with the in-state schools, Alabama and Auburn. Are they coming at you the same way? Do they have different pitches to you? How are they similar? How are they different?
Auburn's more family-oriented, and they're like, hey, come here if you want to come with your friends and your family. Like, it's like a family here. So, like, I know Kenny's there, and he loves it, like, absolutely, like, 100% loves it because of that feeling. Alabama's more like, I guess, business-like. Like, hey, come here if you want to win. You be a good guy for us. We like you. You like us.
Now, I know you hang with some of those Bama commits. You mentioned Kenny Irons, obviously. I'm sorry, KJ Britt came from Oxford. Now at Auburn. I know your boys over at Hewitt Trustful on you pretty good. Paul Tyson just recently committed to Alabama. Pierce Quick, been there for a year now, committed to Alabama. How much could those guys maybe help Bama's chances, knowing those guys?
It helps a lot because I'd already know somebody, so I could come to workouts knowing people, and it's just like all about relationships to me.
I mean, let's go down the Saban tree now. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt, now at Tennessee, Kirby Smart, going into his third year at Georgia. I've asked guys just today, they tell me it's almost scary how similar Georgia is now to Alabama as far as the vibe, the way Kirby goes about the business. You see that as well?
Yeah, so I'm starting to see little hints and glimmers of it when I went there earlier. I haven't been there recently, so.
Well, what are some favorite things that keep Georgia in the mix for you?
I like the O-line coach a lot.
Yeah, Coach Pittman's done a yes sir on the famous things he does all the time on social media when he gets his guy on the offensive line. Let's close out with Tennessee. Jeremy Pruitt, former DC at Alabama. He won big at Florida State as well. Did a good job at Georgia. People said you took a lot of kind of under the radar surprise visit to Knoxville. What was that first impression he and his staff made on you there?
I enjoyed it. It felt really warm. It felt like a warm welcome there, and I really enjoyed talking to him.
I know you're not a man of very few words. You don't give a lot of hints about when you're going to commit, who you're going to commit to. But do you want to get things done before your senior year as far as recruiting? Do you want to take things to December, to signing day?
Yes, sir. I'm going to commit and sign in December.
In December. So you'll commit and sign early signing period?
Yes, sir.
Any early favorites, like 1, 2 top schools right now?
No, sir.
If there was, maybe he can build them in Legos and tote us down the road at a local Bojangles. Clay Webb, thanks so much for your time, man.
Yes, sir.
Best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. That was a update from Clay Webb. Clay Webb, big-time target for Alabama, and it'll be interesting to see if the Crimson Tide can land a prospect like Webb. I think looking at the roster for Alabama, you got to like Ross Piersbacher, who's likely the center this year for Alabama, will be a senior. And then after that, I think Clay Webb, being a five-star, has plenty of potential to come into Alabama and start as a true freshman. I really like the fact that Paul Tyson is working with Clay Webb. Wanted to provide another recruiting update before we start. This one is on 6'6", 300-pound Amari Knight out of Maline, Alabama. I'm sorry, Kite. This is Amari Kite, 6'6", and like 15 pounds. We'll be in Tuscaloosa this coming week. Chad Simmons of Rivals.com does a fantastic job. Also caught up with Amari Kite. Here is that interview. I'll bring that up right now.
Let's go to Alabama. Going to be over there again. You've been there numerous times. You have a very good feel for Tuscaloosa. I mean, people tell me when you walk on that campus, you feel like you're a champion already. I mean, what's their message to you about why you should be a member of their program?
They think I'm one of the best players on their board, and they believe I could really come in and be one of those players that, you know, get drafted high and is an All-American and, you know, stuff like that.
You know, obviously Kirby Smart came from Nick Saban's staff, and he's trying to build a program like Saban has built in Tuscaloosa. Do you see similarities between Tuscaloosa and Athens when you're there? Are they different places?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of alike, actually. It's kind of scary, actually.
As far as being similar?
Yeah.
Just the same kind of feel, same kind of vibe?
Yeah.
Let's go to Auburn then. I mean, Auburn compared to – give me something different about Auburn. You know, you said Bama and Georgia are similar. What's different to make Auburn maybe stand out to you than say, Alabama and Georgia?
I connect a lot with the Auburn coaches, like Coach Gardner. Me and him, we actually go fishing at the same place. Who catches more fish, you or Coach Gardner? I've never seen him fish, but I'm gonna just say me because I can't say no one. Yeah.
So obviously you got the connection with Coach Gardner, connection with the coaching staff at Auburn. What's been their pitch to you about maybe to try to keep you from leaving the state and keep you away from Tuscaloosa?
You know, just the same thing as Georgia, you know, be different, coming down to Auburn and not going to Bama.
You know, you have a top 10 right now. Alabama, Auburn, Georgia are definitely three schools that stand out to you very much in the mix for you. Could you see yourself committing to a school before your senior year, or where do you go next with this plan?
I think there's a possibility that I do commit before my senior season.
And what's it going to come down to? I mean, could you see yourself leaving Alabama to go to another school, or do you think you'll, in the end, stay home and go to one of the two programs in state?
I'm not sure right now. I'm just still trying to fill out, and wherever I feel most comfortable, that's where I'm going to end up going.
All right, Amari Kite, man, kind of a gentle, quiet giant up here, man. I mean, a big-time guy, one of the top prospects in the country. Thanks so much for your time.
All right, that was Amari Kite, and that was Chad Simmons with the interview. Again, if you're just joining us, my name is Kyle Henderson. This is the live Talk of Champions on YouTube. Be sure and give us a subscribe on YouTube, and be sure and check out BamaInsider.com. We'd love for you to try out our 30-day free trial to become a premium subscriber. Wanted to talk tonight about the Alabama offense going into A-Day. We'll have another show at some point talking about the Alabama defense, and we'll bring on our team writer, Tony Sukalis, who does a fantastic job to talk about the defense. And all this week, we'll have continued recruiting coverage from Andrew Bone, the best in the business when it comes to recruiting. He was in Atlanta this weekend, caught up with a lot of high-profile targets for Alabama, so expect plenty of coverage on BamaInsider.com. Now, the latest on quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. He had his second injury of the spring. Now, he hurt his left, it's like his right under his index finger right here. He had surgery, came back, was throwing. Then he had a little bit of what Nick Saban called a setback or bump in the road. Here's Nick Saban talking about Tua Tagovailoa, and I'm going to bring that clip up for you right now. And here's Nick Saban commenting on Tua Tagovailoa this past Saturday. Bring this up real quick. Here we go.
You know, Tua had a little setback yesterday with his hand. So, you know, the doctors are trying to evaluate the best course of action and what we do with him the remainder of the spring. And with that said, I can't really tell you any more, you know, about he didn't take any snaps today. He did take a lot of snaps yesterday. So, you know, we're going to try to protect this and make sure that this thing is not going to be an issue for him in the fall.
Now, this is going to be interesting to see what happens with Alabama, because at the quarterback position, especially for A-Day, now we're a long way from the season, as you know, but for A-Day, I would go ahead and suspect that Tua is out for spring. Now, that isn't confirmed, but he's been injured twice going into A-Day, so I think I would think that they're going to hold him out of A-Day, which would mean you have Mac Jones, who is now the number 2 quarterback, and Jalen Hurts is the number 1 quarterback. And those two will go head-to-head during A-Day. So this is my hot take, okay? This is my hot take for the show. I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this. We're a long way from the season. But I suspect and I believe that Jalen Hurts will get the start against Louisville on September 1st, 2018 at the Camping World Stadium in Orlando, okay? I'm not saying Jalen Hurts will be the quarterback the entire season as a starter, but I don't think that Alabama is just going to throw Jalen Hurts out to dry. I mean, look, this kid's a winner. He's a gamer. Last year, as a sophomore, 154 or 255 passing, 2,081 yards, 17 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Okay, I get it. He struggled against Auburn. He struggled against Georgia. Tua came in, bailed him out. That's what good teammates do. And I do think eventually Tua's going to win out the spot. But I think early on you're going to see somewhat of a 2-quarterback system for Alabama until Alabama can really give the keys to Tua. I don't think Jalen's going to just hand the keys over to Tua. I think it's going to be a progress, and Alabama is talented enough to where, they can play with the 2-quarterback system. They have enough running backs, and we'll talk about the running backs next, but my hot take is that Jalen will start against Louisville for that opener. And we'll talk about this plenty this summer, but I just think, I've been at all the practices. Jalen is first in the reps, then Tua, then Mac Jones. It's the same thing with the running backs. Damien Harris is right above Najee Harris, then Brian Robinson. Same thing with the wide receivers. Henry Ruggs and Jerry Judy are above Derek Keefe and Terrell Shavers. I mean, those are the starters. Same with the offensive linemen. Jonah Williams, Ross Piercebacher, Lester Cotton. Those guys are first in reps, just like Jalen's been first in reps all spring. So eventually, it's going to be Tua's program. I'm not denying that, but I think that Jalen is going to get his opportunity, and he's going to get his opportunity early on for Alabama at the quarterback position in 2018. Sidebar note on the quarterback, don't sleep on Mac Jones, okay? He's going to the spring game as the number 2 quarterback, as we talked about, likely if Tua's out. And he's 6'2", 190-pound redshirt freshman. I think he's really progressed year over year. And we all know he was immature, made some immature decisions last year. Who hasn't as a freshman? But I think he's had a lot of personal growth, and his mentor is Damien Harris, probably the most intelligent player on all of Alabama's team. Great mentor to have, and I can't wait to see what Mac Jones does when he gets an opportunity. A lot of people have talked about Jalen. A lot of people have talked about Tua. Nobody's talking about Mac Jones, and slowly, I've been watching him. He's progressing. He throws a good ball. I know the defense has been they've really been getting after him. I wouldn't sleep on Mac Jones. I think he has a bright future, and excited to see what he can do for A-Day. Now let's talk about the Alabama running backs as we continue to talk about the Alabama offense. And if you're just joining us, my name is Kyle Henderson. I'm the managing editor of BamaInsider.com. Please subscribe on YouTube, and of course subscribe for premium content on BamaInsider.com. We got a free 30-day trial, which you can go check out the website, get inside the forums. You can read our premium content produced by myself, Andrew Bone, and Tony Sukalis, our team writer. Well, let's talk about the Alabama running backs. So you have senior Damien Harris, who returns, and over the last 2 seasons, he set the 1,000-yard mark twice. In 2017, scored 11 touchdowns, ran for 1,000 yards on the button, and is primed to be one of the best running backs in the entire country. Have a clip of Damien Harris here coming up that I'm going to play. Let's get that to you. All right, just give me 1 second. Here's Damien Harris.
There's a lot of things. I could give you a list of pros and cons for both leaving and staying, but like you said, I do enjoy being in school, but I just want to be a part of this team for another year. And I've considered myself very blessed to be coached by Coach Saban and all the guys that have been a part of the staff, and even the new guys that are coming in. Just being a part of this program is something that I consider to be very blessed with. So looking at whether I could leave or come back another year to be a part of this process for one more year, that I feel like makes me a better person. I obviously thought that was better for me and my family, and hopefully the draft will be there later. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to come back and be a part of this program for another year.
All right, I just had somebody ask on the stream if this is recorded live, and yes, so this is recorded live. So I'm kind of going back and forth, and actually, this is really my first show running solo. So forgive me if there's any slight hiccups or if I'm having trouble sliding some transitions in. But so far, so good. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube. We're talking about the Alabama offense as we head closer to A-Day. My name is Kyle Henderson at BamaInsider.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Rivals_Kyle. All our content is back on BamaInsider.com, but I do a lot of the stuff that goes on YouTube, and we're trying to build our YouTube page up. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, and you can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/BamaInsider. Next, I wanted to talk about Najee Harris. Running back U is still going to exist at Alabama. We all know that. They have a long lineage of big-time running backs who go straight into the NFL and do work. Najee Harris, no relation to Damien, 6'2", 228 pounds. Kid just does work. He has every single thing that you want these big prototypical running backs to do for Alabama. He has strength, speed, power. He's a do-it-all guy, and he's just a sophomore. And I think when he gets his opportunity, he's just going to really flourish. And I think he might already be the best running back on the team. But let's not forget about native from Tuscaloosa, Brian Robinson. A little banged up right now. I'm not sure what the issue is with him, but he's similar to Najee, to be honest. People just talk more about Najee, but Brian Robinson, he runs angry. He's a big dude too, probably around 230 pounds. He looks just like a grown man. So don't sleep on Brian Robinson and Josh Jacobs. He's been injured, but I think, he had, I believe it's an ankle injury. So we really haven't seen him that much. He's just been hampered with these injuries. I got some footage of the running backs that I wanted to play for you. So here are the running backs. I'm going to transition this up. And then, let's see. Here are the running backs in action this is from Saturday. All right, so as you can see, that's Damien Harris up in the front. Believe that's actually Ronnie Clark, and you have Joe Panunzio, he's the coach right there, working as the running backs coach, taking over for Burton Burns, who's been a long-time Alabama running backs coach. There's Brian Robinson right here to the left, number 24, and as you can see, he's not doing the drills with the rest of the team. So you have Damien Harris up in the front. There's Najee, number 22. Watch his catch. It's a nice catch. So here's Damien Harris. Just look at him. That's a senior. It's a veteran doing it. There's Josh Jacobs, number 8. Injured to the side. That ankle injury has been really hampering him. But this is during the media viewing, and here's Damien up in the front, then Najee, number 2, Ronnie Clark, number 5, and you get to see these guys going through their drills one more time. But I think Damien is certainly the guy that everybody's going to be talking about. He's so intelligent. He's so dangerous with the football. He's a do-it-all running back. Certainly a guy that's going to go to the NFL draft. Najee Harris, a guy, look at that. 6'2", 230 pounds. Just can do it all. And there's Brian Robinson right to the left. Here's the running backs one more time coming at you. There's Ronnie Clark and a couple of these other guys. So I'm going to transition this out, and then we'll start to talk about the tight ends. And we'll continue with the program. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Looks like we got a nice little following on our YouTube channel. So thanks for giving us an opportunity to earn your business on the website on BamaInsider.com. And, of course, give us a subscribe right here to our YouTube channel. And we'll be bringing more shows like this. Hopefully we can gain a bigger audience as we move forward. Again, we've only done a couple of these shows. So, just deal with us while we get through the hiccups. Wanted to talk about the tight ends real briefly. At the tight end position, as you know, Alabama returns Hell Hintage. And I like what Hell Hintage brings. He's kind of a down and dirty player. He's a great blocker downfield. If you watch a lot of the tape from last year, he's always downfield providing blocks for the Alabama running backs. He caught a touchdown or two. I think he might have caught 3 touchdowns. We'll have to stat check on that. But he did catch a couple touchdowns. Sure-handed guy, very dependable. He's a senior. But I really like Irv Smith, and I wish Alabama would use him more. I hope they do in 2018 because Irv Smith, he's just got a tremendous amount of athleticism. I think he's a kind of a hybrid receiver tight end guy and a guy that could really do damage if he gets the football and really make some plays for Alabama. He could be real dangerous if he gets the football, in my opinion. Seen Miller Forrestal a couple times this year. Doesn't look completely comfortable running on that ACL. Not yet. Behind him, you have Kendrick James, number 44. I'm checking the roster real quick. 6'5", 255 pounds, runs nice. And then you have Major Tennyson, who is number 88, who's also, made some progression year over year. But I think you're going to mostly see Hell Hentage and Irv Smith this year as the tight ends for Alabama. This is a Talk of Champions live stream on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about the Alabama offense going into a day. My name is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Wanted to play you some clips of the wide receivers. The receivers, as you know, at Alabama, always dangerous. They lose Calvin Ridley, who will be selected in the NFL draft. Not sure exactly where Ridley's going to go. It'll be interesting. I think somebody's going to land up with him. A lot of talk about the Dallas Cowboys now that they let go of Des Bryant. You have Jerry Judy and Terrell Shavers, and both of those guys will miss the spring game with injuries. Jerry Judy, last year's spring game MVP as a true freshman. He has a knee injury, and then Terrell Shavers, a toe injury. Both those guys will be out for spring, but they'll be back for August, according to Nick Saban. That means guys like Henry Ruggs, Derek Keefe, Devontae Smith, who caught the game winner, will be guys that really have to step up. Devontae Smith is actually seen time on the defensive side of the ball at secondary just as an emergency situation. But Henry Ruggs is a guy who could really do damage. Last year caught 6 touchdowns in 2017 as a true freshman out of Montgomery, Alabama. Electric wide receiver, insanely fast, and a guy that can get behind the defensive backs. Let's play some footage of these guys. I'm going to bring up right now some footage of the wide receivers. Here we go. All right. Here are the wide receivers at practice just recently. All right, this is Henry Ruggs. Look at that. Nice clean cut, gets up the field, working with new wide receivers coach Josh Gaddis. This is Derek Keefe. A little bit slower. You can tell the speed difference between a player like Henry Ruggs and Derek Keefe. Not to say that Derek Keefe is a slow by any means, but just Henry Ruggs has world-class speed. Looks like this is Jaylen working with the receivers. And the receivers, as you can see, they're really thin with those injuries. This is Hell Hentage getting up from that tight end position. Down and dirty player, as I talked about. Look, big body, catches it, turns it upfield. This should be Irv Smith next. Nice cut. See, I just like his athleticism, what he brings to the table. This is Miller Forrestal. You can see, doesn't feel comfortable. Right? Just doesn't look 100% by any means. This is Kendrick James. He's a big dude, 255, 260 pounds. And this is Major Tennyson right here. Catch it, turn it upfield. He's another big kid. I think both those guys are out of the Lone Star State. Here's Jaylen. Some extra footage of him working. This was just this past Saturday for the scrimmage, and there was no signs of Tua, and we talked about that. If you want to rewatch the show, we played a clip of what Nick Saban said. There's Chris Howard, the wide receiver turned quarterback, number 18 right there. See if we can get any more clips. So I'm going to switch this back, and then we'll continue to talk about the offensive line as we close out the show. My name is Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Be sure and give us a subscribe. Let's see. I'm reading some of these comments right here. Do you think Patrick Surtain Jr. will have a shot? Yeah, I'm reading some of the comments down here, and I certainly do think Patrick Surtain will have a shot to start this coming year. And we'll talk about the defense next time on the program right before A-Day, but I appreciate the comments down here. I do think we are loaded at tight end. And so what I'll do is, how about you guys type your comments in the chat box? I'll finish this out talking about the offensive line, and then I'll answer some of your questions, and then we'll close up shop. Does that sound good? All right, let's talk about the offensive line right now for Alabama. As you know, Alabama is always going to have one of the best offensive lines in the country. Brent Key does a fantastic job. Probably doesn't get enough credit for the job he does with the offensive line. This is how it looks right now, okay? So this is from left to right. You have Jonah Williams, probably one of the most intelligent players on the offensive line at left tackle. Lester Cotton has a lot of experience. Ross Piersbacher taking over for Bradley Bozeman. Jedrick Wills and Alex Leatherwood at right tackle. So that's from left to right. What I like about the offensive line group, Jonah Williams, 6'5", 300-pound junior, as mentioned, smartest player on the team. Maybe him and Damien Harris, right? Lester Cotton, 6'4", 325 pounds, has a lot of experience now as a senior. Ross Piersbacher, 6'4", 301, will take place at center, taking Bradley Bozeman's position. Those are some big shoes to fill, because Bradley Bozeman did a great job the past couple years for Alabama. But Pierce Bacher, he's a veteran lineman, and I think he's going to do a solid job at center for Alabama. Right side of the ball, I really like this. You have two sophomores. You have Jedrick Wills at guard, and then on the outside of him, Jedrick Wills, 6'5", 312 pounds, and then Alex Leatherwood, 6'6", 316, both former 5-stars of Rivals.com. Those two guys on the right side, can you imagine that? I mean, I think I have footage. Let me see. Oh, yeah, I have footage right here. I'm going to play this clip. It's coming up. It's of Jedrick Wills and Alex Leatherwood a couple days ago from practice. Check this out. I mean, this just looks nasty. I just run the ball, right? Watch. Here we go. All right, so this was at practice. I think this was on Friday. So number 74, that's Jedrick Wills. He's a sophomore. Inside at right guard, and then on the right tackle, that's Alex Leatherwood. Okay? Just let this clip run for a second. Just watch these two get off the football. This first time, Jedrick Wills doesn't get off as powerful as I'd like, but on the second clip, let it go real quick, and you'll see. Look at both of those monsters on the right side. Those guys are only sophomores. So can you imagine? Tua's a sophomore, Najee's a sophomore, Brian Robinson's a sophomore, Jedrick Wills a sophomore, Judy's a sophomore, and Henry Ruggs a sophomore, Alex Leatherwood's a sophomore. Look at that right there. You see that? That's big time football. That's power game football. Poor number 50 over there getting pushed back into almost that other practice facility. That's big time football on the right side. Now, if Alabama just wants to run down your throat and they have to do it, they can do it on that right side. And I just love this combination. I know Matt Womack's just not going to roll over, but how can you look at that? That's incredible right there. Love it. Love it. All right, we'll talk about the defense next time. Let me transition this back over. And, okay, now I'll take some questions before we close it down on the Talk of Champions live stream on YouTube. Thanks for your comments, everyone. I'm doing my best, and, we'll continue to try to do more of this as we go forward. All right, so I'll start at the top, and so you can just post your questions in the chat right now. Let's see. Josh Jacobs, yes, he's still out. Ankle injury, seemed to be injury prone the last couple months. Terrell Shavers, getting to that question, he hurt his toe. They thought it was turf toe, and then they actually did a scan, and it was some ligaments in his toe that are hurt. So he's going to be outside or out for the spring game indefinitely, but he will be back for August. That's what Nick Saban says. Do I think Jonah Williams will try out at center? I don't think so. I think Ross Piersbacher doing a great job holding it down, and I think they want to keep Jonah on that left side. Shavers got hurt playing Xbox. That could be true. Who knows? I mean, these guys are getting hurt all sorts of ways. Yeah, O-line is going to be nasty. Certainly agree. Alex Leatherwood already proved he can play in the NFL. Yeah, and Alex Leatherwood, a lot of people forget that he did a great job in the national championship game, playing as a true freshman. Who do you think who should start, Hurts or Tua? I think probably Hurts should start against Louisville, and then it's going to be Tua's show. I mean, I think Tua just has the genetic makeup to really propel this team as you saw last year, but I think they're going to probably play a 2-quarterback platoon for the first couple games. I mean, you saw the offensive line. I mean, I could probably play quarterback for the first couple games, all right? From left to right, somebody has Leatherwood, Piersbacher, Jonah at center, Cotton, Wills. This makes for the best combination. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I like, on that right side, I like Jedrick Wills and Alex Leatherwood, as I already said. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, either combination could be good. What do I think of the new coach, Dan Enos? What does he bring? I think this is great. I think he brings a wealth of experience, and I love the fact that he's working with the quarterbacks, and I've seen him and Mike Locksley really working with those guys, and I think it's going to, I mean, Dan Enos, that's a big-time land for Alabama, and I think he's going to bring a wealth of knowledge to the quarterback game. So those guys, the quarterbacks, are certainly getting their teaching this year, because Dan Enos is a big-time Big time coach. Womack better not lay over. Yeah, I agree. Terrell Shavers. Okay, this question keeps coming up. He hurt his toe. They thought it was turf toe. They did a scan. It turned out it was torn ligaments, but he'll be back for the season. He'll be back for August. All right. Incoming freshman. Let's see. Oh, someone mentioned Jaylen Watteau. He's a freshman wide receiver out of Houston who's coming. That dude is nasty. 5-star. If you watch his clips on YouTube, I mean, he is insane. I mean, he's probably like a 4-4 guy, someone who can get the ball out of the slot, somebody who can come across the field. Really dynamic player. Crisp routes. I think Jaylen Watteau is going to play a lot this year. Yeah, those kids out of Texas, right, doing their thing. Let's see. Should Hurts be a running back? I don't know. I think that would be interesting if they did have Jaylen at running back. I mean, he probably could do it. He's fast enough. I mean, he almost ran for 1,000 yards, the last couple years. He could be a running back. I like that. I mean, maybe if he had to go somewhere, he could be a running back. But Jaylen's a quarterback, and he's just not going to throw the keys to Tua. Recruiting news. Rewind the show for the recruiting news because we have updates on Clay Webb and Amari Kite. Both of those guys talked to Chad Simmons of Rivals.com and dropped some good stuff. Clay Webb, the 5-star offensive center out of Oxford, said that he is not committing until December, but we've heard he really likes Alabama, and he was seen walking with Paul Tyson, the Alabama commitment, just recently at Alabama's last scrimmage. Leave Hurts alone. Agree. Iabi Anoma, probably outside linebacker. And Alabama is so stacked at outside linebacker. Iabi Anoma is probably Alabama's biggest get from this class. He's a 5-star, right? He's coming in. But think about the outside linebackers that Alabama already has. And we'll talk about defense next time. But you have Terrell Shavers, Christian Lewis, Jamie Mosley, Anthony Jennings, who's hurt right now. So those guys all coming back. I mean, eventually, Iabi Anoma is going to do his thing. But, there's quite a bit of competition right there at the outside linebacker position. Yeah, Iabi Anoma, crazy, crazy potential. Probably similar to what Terrell Lewis has, honestly. Terrell Lewis, by the way, I know I don't want to talk about the defense too much right now because I want to save that show. But Terrell Lewis is going to be nasty. 6'5", 255 pounds. See, I have the huge roster printout right here. So this is what Alabama has him at, Terrell Lewis. 6'5", 256 pounds. Can you imagine him chasing you? Him along with Raekwon Davis, 6'7", 308 pounds, right? Hey, if you guys like this show, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, refer it to your friends, share it on social networks. We're trying to get the word out about BamaInsider.com. This is the Talk of Champions live stream. I appreciate all your support. Jennings probably be out the rest of the spring, but he'll be back. Who is the top wide receiver after Ridley? That's probably like an NFL question, but I think the top wide receiver on Alabama's current team is Jerry Judy. Yeah, Terrell Lewis wingspan. It's crazy, right? Johnny Dwight, really haven't heard too much about Johnny Dwight, to be honest. I mean, the defensive linemen for Alabama that have most stood out to me, Isaiah Buggs, Raekwon Davis, Quinnen Williams, guys like that. And like I said, we'll talk more about defense on the next show. Just about to wrap it up, but thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is the Talk of Champions live stream. My name is Kyle Henderson. Really love to live in Tuscaloosa. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm a long way from home, but I love the South. I love grits. I love kicking it with the people here in Tuscaloosa. I was a little freaked out about that tornado warning, though, I must say. So, but we caught the Blue Angels today. That was amazing. I want to end the show by saying thank you again. Do something productive. Be good people. I'll catch you next time. Kyle Henderson for BamaInsider.com. Thank you so much for support. Catch you back on BamaInsider.com.